don't know if you guys know Depressed Nosagi. They make a lot of VTuber related content. And he has something out called So You Want to Be a VTuber. And we're going to be reacting to it. See what he says.
So a little fun fact that old members and supporters of the channel might realize is that upon seeing this title, I might have always wanted to make this video. I wanted to make a VTuber guide based on my personal beliefs in this industry that may or may not land me in trouble depending on which side of the industry hears it. See, I am a traditional, old-fashioned type of VTuber fan, where I think VTubing should not just be regular streaming with an anime avatar. I believe that the strength of the medium and why it works is actually more so because of the roleplay aspect inherent in it, within reason and moderation, of course. What I'm trying to get by with this is that the VTuber advice and guides that you've seen a lot of people in the industry make are so technical. Right? Like they tell you to get a good model, simulcast, try to join a VTuber agency, find a niche or your audience, get better equipment, and a lot of obvious advice like that. And I will make that video soon, don't you worry.
I mean, to be honest, that is a lot of there is a lot of technicalities when it comes to VTubing. I wonder where he's going with this. But no, it makes a lot of sense, all those things that he said. But as far as story time, like story roles and stuff like that,
see a VTuber guide that dive into the philosophical approach of VTubing, the principle, one that visits the meta aspect of it, the psychological reason why it works, the more profound approach. Or pretentious, depends on how you see it, honestly. Aside from just having content to pump from the creator side of things, from the side of the aspiring VTubers and VTuber fans, they watch these videos half expecting to have some sort of inspiration to figure out their path. Some even watch these type of videos because they want to see if they can find a get famous quick scheme that VTubers with a clout is able to dispense.
To be honest, there's a lot of cookie cutter similar videos. I guess you would say they all like to say the same thing, but ever slightly different. Which I guess is the same with when it comes to YouTuber or VTuber like how-tos and stuff.
And the thing is, very few people can give the sort of advice that you're most likely looking for. It's so easy for a lot of creators to tell people what they've done in order to get where they are now and assert that it is the way that works without realizing that what they did could be special to their circumstances.
Another thing I realized too, once you're at the top, I feel like the advice is different. Like, the advice is different when you're, like, way up here compared to when you're starting out. And I feel like a lot of people just put this advice up here, or down here, but they don't tell, like, the whole, like, journey between the two. Because, you know, like I said, there's a lot of luck in VTubing, too. They tell one perspective, and that's basically it.
Survivorship bias is a tricky thing among many creators, and it requires a critical viewer and VTuber fan to recognize it in their favorite streamers. And whenever someone is dispensing advice about how to succeed as a content creator, a viewer will have to really hear their word with a critical ear. Heck, I can't guarantee that I'm not being affected by it. Most of the time, the creators you worship stumbled into their success accidentally, while in rare circumstances, success is planned via sheer effort and determination. Luck is the biggest factor of success, being in the right place at the right time.
Chat, if you don't know who that is, that's OG Shy Lily, by the way. That is V-Roid Shy Lily. She was freaking adorable, guys. I loved her first V-Roid model. So, her story, I did a lot of research into her. She was one of my research topics when it comes to, like, trying to figure out best way to grow and stuff like that. I did a lot of research into her. And she started as a V-Roid. She was hitting, she was sitting at 200 to 300 viewers with V-Roid. And she's a very good example of who to look at if you want to see the beginning, or close to the beginning, and where she's at now.
Here I am, pulling out the seat from a table, sitting down cross-legged, point my finger like a parent telling their child off and say, hey, so you want to be a VTuber?
Yes.
Contrary to popular belief, I'm not a VTuber. Or am I? Look, the definition of a VTuber is strange. Is it still bound by its Japanese roots? Do you have to be a content creator that does general, quote, VTubing stuff to count? Or does the concept of having a virtual avatar as a representation of your digital self be its actual definition? Culture-based is VTubing, where the VTuber is a weeb/otaku and using Japanese art style as a medium to exist in the internet, with a heavy emphasis on Japanese culture, platforms, and community. The type of content this VTuber makes are the same type of content that all streamers make, but with a twist that they roleplay. Role-playing does not necessarily include BFE or GFE or any parasocial heavy leanings, but these are the most popular forms because they get a lot of views and make a lot of money. And because a lot of the heavy hitters of VTubing fit under this category, the definition of VTubing leans most towards here. The second definition is something more technical and goes beyond the current state of VTubing, that as long as you have a virtual avatar to represent yourself in the internet, you are a VTuber. And I'm going to go a little deeper as to what makes both definitions the way they are. But what I am going to say for now is that by the latter definition, yes, I am a VTuber.
I feel like both of those can kind of just go in between. There's an in-between between like cultural and just like personality VTuber, which I think is what he's getting at. You can kind of have both.
But the thing is, this avatar usage concept again is old. A lot of content creators are like this. All e-girls that don't show their faces would be a VTuber. Saberspark would be a VTuber. Domix and Jaden Animations before she debuted her model would be a VTuber. But at the same time, some people consider Annoying Orange or Harry.
Maybe? Would Annoying Orange be a VTuber? I guess technically it's virtual. It's a virtual character. That's actually a thought. In concept, yesn't. Yes. I hate it here. Look at that face, chat. Look at that face. That's a face of a winner. That's a winner. Annoying Orange is my new favorite VTuber.
The term VTubing has kind of slowly overridden the concept of digital representation via digital art. And the reason why I bring these definitions is because a lot of people understand them, but not really get them. Before you become a successful VTuber in the first place, you have to ask yourself, why do you want to become a VTuber? Because you don't want to show your face or put up makeup on for 3 hours only to get called a whore? Because you want the security of hiding behind an avatar and being able to do what you want regardless? These are valid reasons, but think deeper. Allow me to reframe the question. Why do you wish to represent yourself digitally instead of showing your face? I think to answer this question, you have to go the valid but surface level answers. Insecurity, convenience, it's where your people are. Again, these are valid, but I want you to look deeper. Because the more you think, all answers are correct. But if there was one answer that I think trumps above all others, it's this. It's to become larger than life. You want to be similar to your role models, your idols, embody the archetypes and aesthetics that you've loved. There's a reason why self-inserts and character X reader effects are so popular. It's because fiction allows us to explore parts of ourselves and of others that we would never be able to do in real life. It's like digital cosplay. So you want to be a VTuber? Then the answer is simple, so profoundly simple. Be larger than life. Assume the traits of the characters you've so admired. Take shape of the people you've always imagined in your head you wanted to be. Even if you cannot in real life, the medium of VTubing allows that possibility. Like I said, I believe this is the strength of VTubing. What makes it different from regular streaming, why it's taking over the streaming platform. Because if there's one thing people love more than a good character, it's a character that they see themselves in.
To be honest, it makes a lot of sense. Be more than what you are. A lot of VTubing is like artistic representation in one way or another. You can portray these cool characters and you can portray a story. That's very easy and you can show yourself in a certain way. VTubing has that cool aspect because like one of my goals as a VTuber is I see those people with lore videos and stuff. And I think it's really cool to create a story that way in a representation that I really love and enjoy. And that's another aspect of the artistic representation of embodying a character that you really want to be a part of. But overall, I agree. I mean, it's not just the technical things of not wanting to be behind a character. Even if it starts off that way, where it's just a technical, I don't want to be seen, stuff like that. After a while, I feel like you get attached to the character you create for yourself. And a lot of people just want to embrace a story of some sort. in their character and live a certain way through their character. In emotional sense, 100%. That's where VTubing is for a lot of people. And it's a very like mystical place to be. And it's a very comfy place for a lot of people too, to live out these characters. Like a good example is the anime that they just showed about him just being a complete badass. Like imagine yourself being a complete badass, but you're not able to do that in real life, you know? Or like you're disabled in real life and you really want to be a professional runner. I feel like 100% VTubing is the greatest when it comes to the imagination and mind that way.
So if you are someone that wants to become a streamer but do not wish to use the strength and benefits of VTubing, then why not just become a regular streamer? So, you want to become a VTuber? The two definitions that I told you about, marry them. Utilize the meta of present VTubing and understand the culture and trends, why things in the industry are the way they are, and at the same time, use the strength of digital self-presentation to your advantage.
And the whole thing of marry it, I can get what he's talking about, because like I can see, like I have everything set up. I can see everything and how I react to stuff. And when I'm VTubing, you know, I am always cry. You know, I'm always cry when VTubing. I'm still the same person either way, but I feel like I embrace cry a lot more when I am streaming, and it's a great sensation and a great feeling.
I believe a lot of you are calling this video cringe, but hey, be cringe but be free. That's the principle.
Be cringe but be free.
Normies and people outside the industry already don't like us, but you don't have to appeal to them. Just appeal to your hobbies and what makes you happy. And thus so is when your path of VTubing begins.
You have ways you can express yourself in more of an abstract way as a flesh tuber, right? But there's so much more stuff open you could do as a VTuber. There's so much like artism and like different ways to portray yourself as a VTuber. And you can embody all these things, and then you can create new worlds and create new environments for your community and everything. And it's really great, and it's awesome, and it's very exciting. You go from a boring 9 to 5 and you come home and then you get to be this different character, and that in itself is super powerful. And that's why everyone says, and this is why it's important as a VTuber, is you got to enjoy VTubing first before you can be a professional, not really professional, but do something like this like for a long time. Because your goal is to create that atmosphere at the end of everything, right? Create the world, get sucked into the world that you create, and get everyone else sucked into the world you create, and really enjoy the whole thing that you do. And that journey by itself is super emotional, because you look back at the community and how you've grown, and you look at the world you built and how it's grown, and you look at you know, or me, or you guys, and how you've grown. And it's extremely emotional. And, you know, being a VTuber, there's a lot of emotion in it. There's a lot of art. There's a lot of self-portrayal. VTubing is like one of the greatest things that's ever became a thing. I think it's awesome. Flesh tubers are cool. You know, it's fine. Flesh tubers are cool. If you don't want to be behind a VTuber, you think it's cringe, that's fine. But there's such a artistic love, and there's a way you can portray yourself as a VTuber and the stories you can tell that you cannot do as a flesh tuber. But overall, really great video. A lot more emotional than I thought it was going to be. If you guys enjoyed the video, though, follow Press Nusagi. Amazing YouTuber. They do a lot of stuff like this, so give them a subscription, whatever you'd like to do.